Good morning. This week's devotion is What God Desires. Growing up Presbyterian, we focused on learning the stories of the Bible rather than rote memorization. Bible drills just weren't a thing for me. In fact, the most important thing they taught me was that there's an index in the front of the Bible that tells you the page that each book of the Bible's on. But there were a few things that were important enough that my Sunday school teachers made us memorize: the Lord's Prayer, the Apostles' Creed, the two greatest commandments from Matthew, Psalm 23, John 3:16, and one of the verses set for this Sunday, Hosea 6:6. You may be thinking, Hosea? He's not even one of the major prophets. Why on earth, out of all the books in the Bible, would they want you to memorize something from Hosea? Actually, when we memorized it, they paired it with a quote from Amos, another minor prophet. So listen to these two verses, and we will see why my childhood Sunday school teachers found them so important that they made us memorize them. First, Hosea 6:6 says, "For I desire steadfast love and not sacrifice, the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings." Then Amos 5:24 says, "But let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream." I think that my childhood Sunday school teachers wanted us to memorize these scriptures because they wanted us to internalize them. They wanted them to become part of who we are as Christians. I think they're just as important today. They are a way for us to live into the two greatest commandments from Matthew 22:37 through 39, which we also had to memorize. He, Jesus, said to them, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Today, just as in the time of Hosea and Amos, many people want to be seen as Christian. They go to church to be seen. They put others down for not being as good a Christian as they are. They want to use their status of being a Christian and belonging to the right church to get ahead. They want to use their status of being a Christian to get what they want in their own life as well as in politics. The problem is, being a Christian isn't a status symbol. Being a Christian is following the ways of Jesus. It's taking up our cross and risking our status to help and stand for the least of these. Desiring steadfast love and not sacrifice was telling the people they can't just go to temple and go through the motions. You can't just go to church. You can't just you can go to church, you can tithe, you can say all the right things, but if you're not truly loving God and loving your neighbor, if you're not living your life like Jesus when you're not in church, then you're missing the point. It doesn't matter if you can talk the talk if you don't walk the walk. The same could be said for the Amos passage. It doesn't matter that you are seen going to church if you don't stand up for righteousness and justice. Too many Christians can quote every line of the Bible, but they don't live out what it says. I don't think God cares if you've memorized every single word, if you don't internalize it and take it into your heart. What God desires is how we love God and how we love others. And how do we love God? We stand up with the least of these. We seek justice for the downtrodden. We let them know that God so loved the world that he gave his only son for them. They are precious children of God, no matter what the world may say. God's desire for us is not to be seen every Sunday in the most popular church in town. God desires for us to humbly walk toward love and healing, justice and righteousness for all of God's children. What God desires is for us to follow in the footsteps of Jesus and to love people how Jesus loved. Have a blessed week.